Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. First of all, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot before I get into my video. There you go, a Christmas bicep shot. You got your Christmas gift from me. Alright guys, I'm getting a lot of questions from guys who are looking at my novice program, and they're asking things like, why is there only one heavy set of deadlifts but 15 sets of heavy squats? Can I change them out? Can I swap out some of the 5x5 squats for 5x5 deadlifts? I've got guys asking why there's so many novice programs out there written this way, and why so many powerlifters in particular tend to do a lot of squatting but very, very little deadlifting. And the thing that you have to understand is that in terms of the way that these two lifts tax the central nervous system, they're completely different. They have nothing in common. What they have in common is that they are two of the lifts that recruit more muscle fibers throughout the entire body than just about any other lift. But the biomechanics of each one are different. When you do a squat, you start with a lot of weight on your back, but it's an eccentric based movement first. You have to lower the weight, and the weight compresses you downward. And what happens is that you have to slowly turn on motor units all the way down, and it starts recruiting the central nervous system progressively down through the eccentric rep, and it's just like force being put into a spring. It's storing all of the force from the bar, and the energy of however much weight you have on there is being stored into your muscles, and they're loaded up like a spring, and it primes the central nervous system. And then when it fires, you already have that going. Oftentimes you have inertia coming out of the bottom, and you have all of that stored energy, and it doesn't have to be as fast or explosive as a deadlift accordingly. So it's a much slower rate of motor units being turned on. Whereas on a deadlift, there is no eccentric to load at first. You have nothing to preload the muscles, nothing to preload the central nervous system. You have to instantaneously turn everything on with absolutely nothing to warm it up, and you have to generate a huge amount of force in the first inch of the movement. You have to be at pretty much 100% maximum muscle fiber recruitment and motor unit recruitment to even get the weight moving. And the difference between the two in terms of stress on the central nervous system and their ability to impact recovery is tremendous. I would say that a deadlift for most people per set could be as high as 5 to 10 times harder on the central nervous system and recovery ability than a set of squats is. And accordingly, that's why I always say that the squat is the king of mass builders, because out of the few movements that recruit well over half of the muscle fibers throughout the entire body, the squat is the one that you recover from the easiest. You can do it all the time. Most novice programs have you squatting 3 times a week. I know championship winning powerlifters who squat anywhere from 4 to 6 times a week, along with a lot of Olympic lifters who win medals. They squat at ultra high frequencies, very heavy, and the body can be trained to adapt to that. With a deadlift, it doesn't seem to be able to do so. If you deadlift too much or too often, it seems to just burn the central nervous system out. And it has to do with the biomechanics of the two movements. And again, just look at the way that they work. I will also say, though, that the deadlift is a better tool for training the central nervous system to recruit more quickly than the squat, and to build overall explosiveness and just raw power a little better than the squat does. But they're both very good at this. It's just that the squat tends to be better for overall hypertrophy because you can do it so much more frequently and get better muscle protein synthesis out of it, because you can't deadlift heavy frequently enough to keep elevated muscle protein synthesis. It's not always an optimal tool to try to utilize in a manner as a full hypertrophy lift, but rather a supplemental lift into a hypertrophy routine. Whereas in the squat can make a better primary mass builder, and that's why I tend to have people squatting at such an ultra high rate in the programs that I write, especially for novice lifters. Alright guys, I hope this has been informative, and I hope all of you have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and that you stay safe, and I will talk to you next time.